The desert was wide, empty, and cruel. Sand stretched as far as the eye could see. The sun burned from above, and the wind carried heat like fire. No one came here, not without reason. But Jack had one. Jack was a human explorer. He didn't follow maps. He followed stories, strange old stories passed down through traders, nomads, and forgotten books. They all talked about something buried beneath the sands, something not dead, just waiting. His boots sank into the hot sand as he walked alone across the wasteland. His gear beeped, scanning for signs of ancient tech or life, but nothing showed. Only silence, only wind. Still, Jack kept going. He had heard something 2 nights ago in his sleep, like a heartbeat, soft and slow, calling him through the wind. At first, he thought it was a dream. But now, he wasn't so sure. By the 3rd day, his water was almost gone. His scanner gave one last weak signal, just a blip. One single, small sign of organic life under the sand. Jack stopped and stared. Then, without a word, he began to dig. The sand was deep, heavy, and dry. But he didn't stop. Something pushed him forward. His hands bled and his arms shook, but he kept digging. Hours passed. Then, finally, his hand hit something hard. Stone. He cleared more sand and uncovered a smooth stone coffin. It looked ancient, covered in symbols he couldn't read. He touched it carefully. It was cold. Cold like something forgotten by time. With a deep breath, Jack pressed his fingers along the edge and slowly opened the lid. Inside lay a young alien woman. Her skin was pale, glowing faintly under the shade. Her long silver hair floated softly around her shoulders. Her body looked perfect, not like a corpse, but like someone asleep. Her eyes were closed. Her chest didn't move. No breath. No heartbeat. Jack stared at her, confused and afraid. Who was she? Why was she buried here alive, yet not alive? He looked at her hands, delicate, cold. Without thinking, he reached out and touched her fingers, and then he felt it. A beat. A soft, slow thump. Her chest moved. He jumped back in shock. The scanner screamed to life, showing a sudden pulse. Her heart had started beating again. The girl gasped softly. Her eyes didn't open, but her lips parted slightly. She made a sound like a whisper, like a breath from deep inside her soul. Jack dropped to his knees beside her. "Hey, can you hear me?" he said, his voice shaky. There was no answer. But her body trembled. Her fingers twitched. The wind around them grew stronger, spinning the sand into tiny circles. Something in the air changed. The ground hummed, soft and low. Machines, old and buried, stirred far beneath them. Jack knew something bigger was happening, something ancient. He had come looking for treasure, for tech, for lost knowledge. But he had found her. She was the key. He lifted her gently from the coffin. She was light in his arms, like she hadn't moved for years. He wrapped her in his spare blanket and began walking toward his camp, which sat near the cliffs an hour away. The wind howled louder now. A storm was coming. As he walked, the girl shifted slightly. Her head rested against his chest. Her lips moved. Jack leaned closer. She whispered one word, Zara. He didn't know what it meant, but it sent a chill through him, even in the heat. The sky darkened. Thunder rolled across the desert, but Jack didn't stop. He had touched something lost. And now it was alive again. He didn't understand it yet, but he would. The desert had kept her hidden, but now she was awake. And the world would never be the same. The girl who should be. Jack placed the alien girl carefully on the soft bedroll inside his small desert shelter. The sandstorm outside roared like a beast, but inside, the silence was deep. Only the faint sound of her breathing reminded him she was real, alive. Somehow she hadn't opened her eyes since he pulled her from that stone coffin. But her heartbeat continued slow, steady, like a drum waking up after centuries of silence. Jack didn't sleep that night. He sat by her side, watching, waiting, wondering what he had just brought back to life. He cleaned the dust off her face and noticed something strange. The skin near her temple shimmered, just for a moment, and a glowing mark appeared. A soft blue symbol pulsing with each beat of her heart. It looked like it was growing brighter. Every hour she was no normal alien. That was clear now. Suddenly, just before sunrise, her eyes opened. They were bright gold. Not the color of metal, but like the last light of the setting sun. Her pupils widened, confused, scared. She sat up, fast, and gasped for air, clutching her chest. Her whole body shook. Hey, easy, Jack said, raising his hands. You're okay. You're safe. She stared at him. Her mouth opened, but no sound came out. Her lips moved as if searching for the right words. Then she frowned, confused, like something was missing from her mind. She touched her head, then her chest, then her glowing symbol. When she looked at Jack again, her expression changed, calmer. As if she recognized him. Jack felt something strange in that moment. Not fear, not danger, but connection. As if a line had been drawn between them, and nothing in the universe could erase it. What's your name? He asked softly. She blinked. Then whispered the same word again. Zara. Jack nodded slowly. Okay, Zara, I'm Jack. He gave her water. She drank it in small sips, like someone learning how to live again. He tried asking more questions, but she didn't answer. Either she didn't know how to speak his language, or she had forgotten how to speak at all. Hours passed. Zara touched the floor of the tent, dragging her fingers over the dirt and sand. As she did, small blue sparks followed her fingertips. Wherever she touched, tiny glowing roots appeared for a moment, then vanished. Jack's eyes widened. What are you? He whispered. She looked at him again. Still silent. But this time, her hand moved toward him, resting gently on his dot, and something happened. A wave of warmth flowed through Jack's body. His vision blurred and then changed. Wasn't in the tent anymore. He stood inside a massive temple of glowing stone. In front of him, Zara stood tall, dressed in white and gold, surrounded by thousands of her kind, kneeling before her. She raised her hand, and the sky itself responded. Then, darkness. Fire. Screams. Her people fell. Machines overran the city. A human betrayed her. She was captured. Her heart was stopped, and she was buried. The vision ended. Jack gasped and pulled away. He stared at her, breathless. That was you. That was your memory. Zara looked down, ashamed. Outside, something buzzed. Jack grabbed his scanner. A red dot blinked. Someone was coming. Fast. He looked at Zara. We have to go. She didn't speak, but she nodded. She understood. Jack packed up fast and helped her stand. She was still weak, but something in her posture had changed. She was starting to remember who she was. As they stepped out into the sand, Jack felt the storm had passed, but something worse was coming. Something that didn't want her alive. Zara touched his arm one more time, and this time he felt her heartbeat inside him. They were connected now. And that connection might be the only thing strong enough to survive what was coming. Asterisk marked by the ancients. The sun was cruel again, high above the shifting desert, but Jack wasn't thinking about the heat anymore. Not after what he'd seen. Not after what he now felt. Zara walked beside him slowly, her bare feet barely touching the sand. She still hadn't said more than her name, but her silence spoke in other ways. Her eyes searched the horizon, then the sky, then the desert around them, as if something was supposed to be here. Or someone. The symbol on her skin had changed. It had spread. What started as a single glowing mark near her temple now moved. Like soft light across her neck and down her arms, glowing brighter each hour. It didn't look like infection. It looked like memory coming back to life. Jack stopped walking. "Zara," he said, pointing at the marks. "What are those?" She looked down at her arm, then raised her hand toward the sky. And then sand shook. A low vibration rose from beneath their feet. Jack's scanner came alive, blinking rapidly. Not one signal. Not two. Dozens. All underneath them. Jack dropped to one knee and brushed away the sand. It was only surface level at first, but then his hand struck something solid. Not rock, not metal. Something different, smooth, warm, like a sleeping body waiting to wake. Zara knelt beside him and pressed both hands into the sand. A sound followed, deep, musical, haunting. The ground responded like a living creature. Suddenly, a round section of the sand began to fall inward, revealing a spiral staircase made of glowing crystal. Jack stared in awe. "What the hell is this?" he whispered. Zara's glowing skin lit the steps as she began to descend without fear. Jack followed. Heart racing. Below the desert, an ancient chamber opened wide before them. Tall, curved walls shimmered with light. Strange machines stood like statues, silent but powerful. Symbols moved across the walls like living water, shifting and swirling into patterns Jack couldn't read. Zara walked to the center platform. As she stepped forward, the machines woke up one by one. Blue lights blinked on. A soft hum filled the air. Jack watched as one of the machines scanned her body from head to toe. A light beam passed over her chest, her arms, her face, then paused on Jack. He froze. "No thanks, I'm just..." But it was too late. The beam hit him and something inside him responded. The machine beeped twice and sent out a second light, this one shaped like a ring. It circled both Jack and Zara. Then everything stopped. Silence. Jack looked around. What just happened? Zara stepped toward him, touched his chest, and he felt something locked deep inside his heart. A connection. Not just emotional, something physical, ancient. Like he had just been paired with her by whatever this system was. "What are you?" Jack asked again. She finally opened her mouth. "Guardian," she whispered, "and now, so are you." Jack blinked. "Me? No, I'm not. You woke." "Me," she said slowly. Her voice was quiet, heavy. "You carry the mark now." She pointed to his arm. Jack looked down. The same glowing lines were now forming under his skin, faint but spreading. Panic hit him like a wave. No, I didn't ask for this." Zara stepped closer, calm. "You touched a lost soul beneath the sands. You brought life to what was locked in death. Now the bond is made. And others will come." As if her words summoned them, the walls of the chamber trembled. Jack grabbed his scanner again. Multiple life forms. Moving fast. "They're already here," he whispered. Zara stood tall, her eyes glowing. "They will try to take me. Kill me. Use me." Jack looked at her, heart pounding. "And me?" She looked at him without blinking. "They will try to kill you too." Outside, the first blast of sound echoed through the tunnel. Zara reached for his hand. "You still want to leave?" she asked, voice quiet. Jack didn't move. "No," he said. "I want to finish what I started." And so, side by side, the Guardian and the human prepared to face whatever came from above. Together, the chase through dust and death. The first shot hit the sand behind them like thunder. Jack didn't need to turn around, he already knew. They had been followed, tracked, hunted. "Move!" he shouted. Zara didn't argue. She ran beside him, her bare feet leaving trails of glowing footprints in the sand. The entrance to the chamber behind them was already collapsing, swallowed again by the dunes. Whatever secrets it held were gone for now. The sky above turned gray, not with clouds, but with dust and incoming ships. 3 small desert skimmers flew overhead thin. Sharp crafts made for speed and killing. Jack's scanner buzzed, marking them as bounty hunters. Not locals. These were professionals. The kind that didn't care who you were, only what you were worth. And Zara, glowing and ancient, was worth more than all the gold on earth. Jack and Zara ducked into a dried-out ravine running along the cracked rock. A thin trail of blue shimmered from her skin, like she was bleeding light. She was glowing brighter with every step. Her power was rising, but so was the danger. "Can you hide that glow?" Jack asked between breaths. "I don't know how," she said, voice tight with fear. A shot blasted into the wall above them, spraying shards of rock. "They're not trying to catch us," Jack muttered. "They're trying to kill us." Zara stopped suddenly. Jack turned, panicked. "What are you doing?" She knelt and placed her hands on the ground. For a second, nothing happened. Then the rocks under her palms shimmered. A thin barrier of crystal rose from the sand, forming a wall between them and the hunters. Jack blinked. "You can do that?" She didn't answer. Her eyes had changed brighter, colder. The girl who couldn't speak before was starting to remember what she was. More blasts came, hitting the shield and shaking it, but it held barely. Jack touched the wall. "This won't last long." "No," Zara whispered. "But it's enough for you to choose." "Choose what?" "Run or fight." Jack looked at her. "We can't outrun them forever." Zara stood. "Then we fight." She reached for his hand. As their skin touched, something inside him unlocked again. A flash of light. A memory that didn't belong to him. He saw city towers of crystal, skies of gold. A war. Fire raining from the stars. Zara standing alone on a tower, arms raised, protecting her people. And then betrayal. A human, smiling, holding her hand, then pressing a blade to her back. Jack snapped back. He let go of her hand. "That wasn't me." Zara studied him for a long moment. "I know." The shield cracked. The bounty hunters dropped from their skimmers, landing hard on the sand. They wore dark armor and carried plasma spears. "Hand her over." One yelled, "She's not yours." Jack stood in front of Zara. "She's not yours either." One of them laughed. "You think you can stop us?" "No," Jack said, "but you can." Zara stepped forward. The sand beneath her feet began to spin, rising into the air like a storm. The hunters aimed, but too late. She raised her hand. A wave of force exploded from her body, pushing the attackers back like leaves in a hurricane. One crashed into a rock. Another was flung into his ship. The last one aimed at her heart, but Jack tackled him first. They hit the ground hard, and Jack grabbed the spear, jabbing it into the man's chest. Dust flew. The man didn't move again. Jack stood, breathing hard. Zara looked at him, eyes glowing like twin stars. "I remember now," she said. "Who you are?" Jack asked. She nodded. "And why they want me?" He stepped closer. "Why?" "Because I'm the last." Jack frowned. "Last what?" She looked up at the sky as more ships appeared on the horizon. "The last heartbeat of my world, and they will not let me live." Jack looked at the incoming threat. "Then they'll have to go through me first." Zara smiled, just a little. The desert wind swirled again. The chase wasn't over. It had just begun. City of the silent beating heart. They reached the cliffs by nightfall. Hidden in the rocks was a narrow path that led into darkness, a place Jack had only heard whispers about. No one alive had seen it. Some called it a ruin. Others called it a myth. Zara called it home. She touched the cliff wall, and glowing lines lit up beneath her fingers, spreading outward like veins. The stone split open, revealing a tunnel made of smooth crystal. Untouched by time. Jack followed her inside, and the wall closed behind them. Inside. It was warm, alive. The air hummed gently, like the breath of something ancient still sleeping. The floor glowed faintly beneath their feet, reacting to Zara's steps. The silence here was not empty. It was full of memory. This city, Jack whispered, it's still awake. Zara nodded, her eyes filled with something like sadness. It never truly slept, only waited. They walked through wide halls, past massive structures that reached into the dark above. Strange statues lined the walls, alien faces frozen in grief. Machines stood still but intact, covered in thin layers of dust. It was like walking through a tomb that still had a heartbeat. Jack couldn't shake the feeling that the walls were watching him. Zara stopped at a round chamber in the center. Above them, the ceiling opened to a black sky scattered with stars. In the center was a platform with a pulsing light. She stepped onto it. The light scanned her body from head to toe, then changed color blue to violet. The ground vibrated. The machines all around began to wake. Jack stumbled back. What's happening? Zara spoke clearly now. This city lived through me, my blood, my heart. When I fell, it did too. So it's linked to you, she nodded. And to whoever wakes me. Suddenly, Jack felt a sharp heat in his chest. He pulled up his sleeve. The glowing marks on his arm were brighter now, no longer faint. His veins shimmered like molten lines. Zara looked at him with quiet wonder. You are not just a rescuer anymore. The city accepts you. Jack shook his head. Why me? I'm no hero. I don't even know what's happening half the time. You didn't come for power, she said. You came because you listened. You cared. That is enough. Before Jack could respond, the city shook. But this time, it wasn't a welcoming hum. It was a warning. Zara turned slowly. They're coming. From deep within the city tunnels, old machines' defense units began to activate. But not all of them responded to Zara. Some had been damaged or corrupted. Suddenly, the lights flickered. A sharp voice echoed through the chamber. Surrender the Guardian, or be buried here, just like before. Jack pulled out his weapon. They're already inside? They followed the signal, Zara said. My heartbeat woke the city, but it also called to them. The machines moved closer. One of them scanned Jack and hesitated. Another scanned Zara and stepped back as if afraid. They remember you, Jack said. But they don't trust me, Zara whispered. They remember my failure too. Jack stepped forward. Then let me speak to them. She stared at him. They only answered to one with the mark. He raised his arm. Then let's see if it listens to me. The nearest machine scanned him again. Lights turned green. It backed off. Jack felt power rush through him. A strange strength he didn't understand, but it didn't hurt. It felt like purpose. Zara looked at him like she was seeing him for the first time. You are more than you think. Jack smiled faintly. I'm just a guy who digs holes. Outside, another explosion shook the cliffs. The enemy was almost here. Zara stepped beside him. Then dig with me. One last time. As the city began to glow and rumble, the heart of the ruins beat louder than ever, calling to its protectors. And now it had two asterisks, the price of awakening. The ground trembled beneath their feet as alarms rang through the glowing halls. The ancient city, once quiet and buried, had fully awakened. But it wasn't cheering for its queen's return. It was warning her. Jack ran beside Zara through a spiraling corridor of light and stone, his heart pounding, both from fear and something else, something deeper, older. The mark on his skin pulsed with each step, sinking with Zara's glow. They were connected now. Bound. But that bond had drawn attention. At the gates of the city, the enemies had already broken through. Not just bounty hunters this time, something worse. Tall machines with long skeletal limbs and glowing red cores, hunting machines from another age. Built to destroy Guardians. Jack pulled his blaster. We can't fight those head on. Zara stopped at a narrow bridge above a glowing pit. She turned, eyes filled with fire. We don't have to fight them head on. The floor under the machines lit up suddenly. Zara raised both hands and a wave of force exploded outward, throwing some of them back. Others held their ground, shields rising, but it cost her. Her knees buckled. Her glow flickered. Jack rushed to her side, catching her before she fell. You're using too much energy. Stop. I can't, she whispered. They're after me. If I stop, they reach the core. If they reach the core, this city dies, and so do we. What's in the core? Zara looked at him with pain in her eyes. The last memory of my people. If they erase that, I am the only one left. Jack shook his head. There must be another way. Another explosion rocked the city. The machines were regrouping. Zara pulled away and began walking again. Her steps were slower now, each one heavier than the last. Jack followed her into a massive chamber filled with floating crystals, glowing pillars, and a huge central column, beating like a heart. This was it. The core. It glowed in rhythm with her pulse. Zara stepped onto the platform. Instantly, her body lit up, and the machines above began to stir, defensive ones this time. The last protectors of the city, still loyal to the Guardian's bloodline, but activating the defense systems required power, life, her life. Jack saw what she was doing. Zara, stop. You're feeding it too much. She didn't answer. She closed her eyes, glowing brighter and brighter. Her veins shimmered white-hot. The machines moved into place, taking aim at the invaders. The city shook again, but this time in defense. Not fear. Jack climbed onto the platform beside her. Don't do this alone, he said. You brought me back here. Let me help. Zara turned to him slowly. Her skin had gone almost translucent. From the energy drain, if I take more from the core, my heart will stop again. Jack looked at the mark on his arm. Then take it from me. She gasped. No, you'll die. He smiled, tired. I've been lost my whole life, Zara. If this is what I was meant to find, then so be it. He placed her hand over his chest. Mark on his skin lit up, brighter than ever. The core responded. A surge of light blasted through the room as Jack's life force flowed into her. The defensive machines roared to life. Outside, the invaders were crushed under beams of pure power. The city, once a tomb, had become a fortress again. But inside, Jack collapsed. His body hit the stone, still, silent. Zara knelt beside him, tears forming in her glowing eyes. No. She placed her hand over his heart. Nothing. She leaned down, forehead to his, and whispered, You gave me life. Now I'll return it. She pressed her palm over his chest. And shared her last spark. She breathes for him. Now the core dimmed. The defense machines powered down. The city was safe again, but silent. All that light, all that ancient energy, had gone into saving itself. And saving her. Zara knelt on the stone floor, motionless. Her glow had faded to the faintest blue. Her hand still rested on Jack's chest. His body was still unmoving. No breath. No sound. No heartbeat. She lowered her head. She had been buried for centuries, preserved in stone. Her people long dead. Her memory half forgotten. But then he came, a stranger. A human. He didn't run. He didn't take. He gave everything. Zara's fingers trembled. Her lips moved without sound. Her body, once strong and bright, now shook under the weight of sorrow. Her heart beat once, twice, then slowed. Then she heard it. Not inside her, but beneath. Her hand, Jack's heart. One soft thump, then another. Her eyes opened wide. His chest rose. He coughed, sharp and sudden, sucking in breath like it was his first. His eyes opened, and they were no longer just his. A faint golden shimmer danced in his pupils. He looked at her, dazed. "Zara?" She smiled weakly. "You came back." "You brought me back," he whispered. He sat up slowly, then saw her. She looked smaller now, pale and quiet. Her glow was gone. "You gave me everything," he said, touching her cheek. "And I would again," she replied. The core, now faint, pulsed one last time before fading to a soft light, peaceful no longer. Calling for war. It had done its duty. And so had she. They sat in silence for a while, holding each other. No machines. No enemies. Just two lives once buried by time, now reborn in the heart of an ancient city. Outside, the sun began to rise. Over the sands, golden and warm. The same desert that had once swallowed her alive now welcomed their steps as they left the ruins together, no longer alone, no longer lost. Zara leaned into Jack as they walked. Her heart beat steady against his side, and though the world didn't know it yet, the last guardian of a forgotten race was breathing again because of him. And now she breathed for him too.